Joy is natural. Happiness is natural. Delight in being alive is natural. What is unnatural is being unhappy, not loving ourselves, being ungrateful for being alive, being miserable, the full package. That is what is unnatural. And we're taught to accept all that's unnatural, all our unhappiness. Well, what to do? Life is like that. And we never, ever discover how to move from this unhappy space to a joyful space. So, what is the key transition? It's acceptance. Now, what does that mean? It means allowing the trauma, allowing the feelings, allowing whatever it is that's causing our discomfort, allowing that to come to the surface. And then what is natural happens by itself. This is unnatural. So here we have whatever feelings there are, and we keep it bottled up, we keep it stuck, we prevent it coming to the surface, and that's how it continues. So now we're saying, okay, how about you change strategy and you accept whatever's coming to the surface? Because allowing whatever's coming to the surface, of course, then the energy trapped here is now released and joy becomes an inevitable outcome. So one thing to be really aware of is many people will persuade you that by allowing the feelings, past traumas, past experiences to come to the surface, you're going to re-traumatize yourself. Now, this is a real misunderstanding. Yes, you could re-traumatize yourself if you basically get into analyzing the whole circumstances around the original trauma, which is what Western psychotherapy does. It wants to analyze, it wants to dig into the detail. Of course, then you're basically going to have to relive that experience, which is maybe traumatic. Now, the Eastern psychological approach is completely different. The Eastern approach says we're not interested in analyzing how this happened, who did it, who did what to whom. All those details are not relevant. The only thing that's relevant is the actual emotional leftover, whatever it is that's left inside me, whatever the unconscious is storing. That is all that's relevant. All the data about the issue is contained within this blob. What is the blob? It's kind of energetic, psychological, uh, neurological, whatever it is. It's some part deep in my system which the unconscious is keeping repressed, but trying to release. The conscious is keeping it repressed. The unconscious is trying to release it. But all the data is here. And all we have to do is allow the feelings to emerge. And that will never re-traumatize you. It will only allow the feelings to be released. And what's really important, perhaps the most important thing to understand, is the following insight, which is specifically Osho insists on, which transforms everything, which is that no feeling has any inherent pain associated with it. The pain only occurs the moment there is any suggestion of rejection. So the suffering is because of we reject the feeling. If we allow it and accept it, there is no suffering, there is only growth, and there's only a movement towards the natural, towards joy. So this course is for basically everybody, and particularly anybody who's wondering, is this the life I'm experiencing? Is that really all there is? Is there some reason why actually life is a struggle and actually not that much fun? The essence of all our problems are that our upbringing and our conditioning has created the preconditions which make the problems inevitable. So, for example, let's say I find I'm stressed, I react to people unnecessarily, I'm unhappy, I can't sleep, the usual issues most people discuss when they're talking about their problems. If you look at those issues, then the way we respond to them is, how do I fix the problem? How can I sleep better? How could I be less stressed? How could I be happier? How could I be joyful? So we're actually asking the wrong question. The right question is, what is it I'm doing that prevents all those attributes that I would love to be part of my life from not happening? And once you ask that question, then we're now looking at what Osho will call the weeds, basically the end result of what's called an upbringing, but would perhaps more effectively called a downbringing, which is all those experiences in our childhood which make stress, insomnia, unhappiness, a lack of joy inevitable, or if not inevitable, highly likely. So by turning the whole subject around and addressing what is it we're doing that prevents a beautiful life from emerging by itself, joy happening, we're now changing the whole approach. So now the question is, what are these weeds? So in this course, what we're going to do is really examine the weeds so we could see what it is we are doing that makes our life unhappy, unjoyful, whatever. And so that when you consider that actually every child, all of us, we all go through this process, which makes unhappiness almost inevitable, this course is really for everybody because everybody has suffered the trauma of a misunderstood childhood, which makes the unhappiness inevitable. And unless we could actually address the root cause of these issues, nothing is ever going to change. So, who is the course for? Well, for everybody. The most valuable thing you get out of the course is you understand what's going on. Because most of us, we can't sleep, or we're unhappy, or we're stressful. And it's very different. Why? Why me? Everyone else seems to be fine. Why do I dislike myself? Why am I not contented with my life? And it's such a confused fog. And all the instructions we get from society and all the analysis you get from society only makes it more and more confusing. But once you realize, wow, of course that's how I feel, because I've been trained to feel like that. The society and all those people around me, without realizing it, have actually made it almost inevitable that all these sources of unhappiness are going to happen. Aha, okay, then I can see exactly what it is that was done to me. So now I know exactly why I'm feeling like this. So that removes at the first level, okay, so actually there's nothing wrong with me at all. I've just been put through the mangle, those old machines we used to dry the clothes with. I've been stuck through a mangle. And I've come out the other side actually quite damaged. And the damage is not permanent. The damage, it continues for as long as I don't understand it, see it, and by seeing it, resolve it. And then all the things we want to happen in our lives, they happen by themselves. Because you have to understand, in this society, which is really becoming overwhelmingly authoritarian, dominated by fear, joy is a really revolutionary proposal. So if you want to really transform your life, what else could you possibly do that's more valuable than become joyful and delight in your life? It's 8 weeks, and each week is 1 hour, and in between each of the 8 weeks, there's homework for you to do. And in particular, there's a relaxation exercise, just 5 minutes every day, so that you can start to discover what is the basis of the direction we need to move. And we're going to move once we have removed the causes of our unhappiness, once we understand what we are doing to ourselves, which makes unhappiness almost inevitable. So each week we go through all the processes that we've gone through as childs, as grown-ups, all the phenomena we've experienced, which is actually sabotaging our ability to live joyfully. So that once we start to understand what has happened to us and what we are continuing to do to ourselves, it becomes easier and easier to stop doing these self-destructive habits we've learned and to start to move in a more conscious direction. And each week we will go through all the different elements, all the weeds, all the different aspects of our past which are creating the situation on a day-to-day basis, which are making our lives less than total, less than joyful. And then once we understand it and we take each step one at a time, you just find naturally it becomes obvious that you stop doing the things which are causing you pain. I mean, it's obvious. If you have any questions, you just send them by email, and um, you'll find everything actually happens very, very easily. We've done the course several times now, and you'll find it's really a very smooth process. Step by step, you'll find everything unfolding. If you realize that clearly there is something you can do that really will transform your life, and what is there that's more important than your life? Go to booking.osho.com, just find this course, Osho, How to Find Joy in My Life. Check out all the details. You can see much more about the course and more details exactly there, and then you can book it right there on that page.